God, it's lonely over at this house.
Aww. Why is
So,
that?
this is the second time we're doing a Legend Hunters podcast, Sans Legend.
Yeah. Oh, right. The first time was because he got sick.
Yeah,
so
and this time is because
podcast?
and this time it's because his family goes completely nanners during the holidays and basically chamber him into the house.
At least they're not stuck at sea. Because then they'd be sea nanners. Because then they'd be sea nanners.
Considering that my dad's considering on going on a cruise in April, that's not giving me any good thoughts right now.
Oh, what? Are you gonna get seasick?
I'm not going on that fucking cruise.
What, you don't want to go visit Alola?
No, where he's going to Spain.
What would be to Spain? Well, that's pretty close to Kalos, so...
Yeah.
Though it does make me wonder what the Spanish equivalent in Pokemon would be.
That is a good question when you think about it.
Hello, everyone. This is Leo Force, and welcome to Leo Force and the Hunters podcast.
Hey.
Hey, someone's got to take over the show while Legend's gone.
Hey, I am editor-in-chief, so it should be the Zero Hunters podcast.
Except you're not the one who actually runs the podcast. Now, are you, Mr. Scrappy Buns?
Oh, shut the fuck up, Leo.
Now, kiddies, come on.
I'm not a kitty, I'm a Raichu, goddammit.
Not like that. As in kitties.
Oh. Enunciate, you fool.
D, not a T, although that implies some very different connotations.
Oh, good lord.
Anyway, I guess we should go ahead and start off with how our weeks have been.
Okay, big preface. We all know what we all did, at least a good chunk of it. We will talk about that at the end. So let's talk about the non-SuMo news for now.
Yes.
So maybe I'll quickly start since I've been going last quite a lot lately.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about your week since we last talked to you, Zero?
Well, since we last had the podcast, I had flown off to Austin to visit my aunts and my grandmother and my cousin. However, it turns out that my aunts and my cousin were going to San Antonio for a horse racing thing because my cousin likes to do racing and show horse stuff.
That's cool.
That sounds like fun.
So I was actually stuck with my 92-year-old grandmother and my mother, which is always fun, and 3 tiny dogs, 2 tiny cats, and 7 chickens.
Oh, but you didn't tell us the part about going over there.
Oh yes, flying. I fucking hate flying. I really hate it. Let me tell you about this.
Was this your first time flying since 9/11?
No, it hasn't. It's just been about maybe 4 years.
Okay.
So and
because I hadn't flown post 9/11 until last year. So it was completely different for me.
Well, the reason why is because in the past 4 years we had all those flight disappearances and crashes and TSA bullshit, and it was just kind of worming its way into my head, so it made me paranoid. Did not help with the fact that leaving home, it was windy as fuck, and the plane was shaking from start to finish.
And what day did you leave?
Oh god, I think we left last Thursday.
Right before what?
Right before Thanksgiving.
And...
surprisingly, the airport was...
What were you depressed that you missed?
And before Sun and Moon.
There we go.
That was what he was angling for.
Yeah, so I was Pokemon-less for the entire time. Instead, I was...
Well, no, that's not totally true. You were playing Yellow.
That's true, and I actually finally managed to beat it after 20 years.
You didn't start playing it when you were 4?
No. When I was for 18 years, never mind.
I know I'm teasing you.
I know, but seriously, I'd never beaten Red and Blue, and I'd never beaten Yellow. I'd never beaten Gen 1 ever in my life, so this was actually a nice little accomplishment.
So how was it like being the original.
Very satisfying, especially considering it was like 10 levels lower than everything else.
So was the Elite Four easy on you, or worse than you thought?
I think the only one who gave me trouble was Lance. And only because, for some reason, Thunder would not miss. Thunder has a 70% accuracy. With him, it was 100%.
Ugh. And did you feel satisfied beating the shit out of Blue?
Of course. That was actually a very fun fight, and it was actually down to the wire, too.
Just to get some satisfaction from being annoyed in the anime, half the time I name him Gary. Then I could beat the crap out of him.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, while I was there... Oh, I should also mention that while landing, for some reasons, while flying to Austin, this lady, who was 2 seats in front of us, who I think had a couple of glasses of wine right before the flight, had one more on the plane, and had her headphones in, jamming her head, headbanging, and then she started belting out out-of-tune music.
Did you know it was a karaoke flight?
Oh, God.
Well, with her it was.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
No.
Oh, God, no.
No, it was worse. She was singing country music. Gah.
Depends on who it is.
I don't know who it was because she was singing so out of tune and so drunkenly and so loudly I couldn't tell what the fuck she was singing.
As long as it's not Florida-Georgia line.
You know what? I wouldn't doubt it because she had the thickest Tennessee accent I ever heard on a woman.
It's so funny that people call him the Nickelback of country.
Isn't Nickelback like pseudo country to begin with, or at least like
They're Canadian.
yeah, but it's still country. Country is country regardless of what country it actually is in.
Fair enough. But yeah, while I was there, took care of cats, took care of dogs, took care of my 92-year-old grandmother. Then we flew back. Surprisingly, the flight home was a lot more peaceful. And yeah, other than that, me and my dad actually just yesterday went to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Lucky bastard.
I was about to say, get it over with.
Me and Dad always go whenever they're in town. And they're usually here almost every year. They weren't here last year for some reason.
So we're missing, what, 5 times now?
No, I've been going since middle school, technically, so it's probably been over 10... I've gone to it like 10 or 15 times by now.
God damn it.
And how was Thanksgiving for you in particular?
Excuse me?
How was Thanksgiving for you in particular?
Just simple turkey dinner with me and Dad. Nothing extravagant. Mom was with my stepfamily, and that's pretty much it. Everyone else was out of town. So, yeah, that's been pretty much my week. Leo, how's your week been?
My week has been sort of interesting. Last week we had a bunch of classes just hunkering down before Thanksgiving started. I was still going over a bit of a flu, and so it was kind of rough. Finally got over it though, so I'm happy about that at least. Aside from schooling and you know what, I've been watching a lot more of a lot of subbed Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh god, don't tell me you're going to start buying the cards again.
You know what? I've been dealing with the urge to buy, but because it's the Christmas season, I've not yet. Though I might get some I might buy some singles when and have them shipped up here for when I come back as a thank you to myself over the Christmas season.
I swear to God, if I get you for Secret... I swear to God, if I get you for Secret Santa, I'm going to end up just buying a booster pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Probably not. I mean, there's a specific thing. Like I told you off camera, they made updates to one of the archetypes that I used to use. So it would mainly just be like seeing if I couldn't afford them at a reasonable price, and just work from there. Actually, the one that I've been seeing a lot more of is GX as opposed to the regular series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I just because really there's a tone change from the original, from GX subbed and GX dubbed. Just with things like the Society of Light is a lot more serious. Jaden is a lot less annoying. Chaz, now then Manjome, is a lot more endearing as a secondary protagonist. Just, there's a lot more contextual things that didn't translate well when you give it to 4Kids.
Well,
Was it 4Kids or Funimation? Was it 4Kids or Funimation?
4Kids.
4Kids, okay. No, I was correct. Okay. So there's that.
Because if it was Funimation, they would have done the final season.
Yeah, that's also true. But they, again, so many changes. Oh yeah, that's right, because they changed the Chumley's dad who was the drunken master, was the hot sauce king.
Yeah.
That is one of the weirdest changes that makes absolutely no sense.
But yet funny.
Unless you realize, well, I mean, it's like the jelly donut thing, but it's even worse because it involves alcohol.
Oh God.
So again, it doesn't make sense in that regard. Other things, I started reading. I picked up on. I re-picked up Toriko. It looks like it's finishing.
I think I just saw the final chapter because I haven't.
Yeah. So basically, they wrap up the final battle. They have, I think, they have one chapter. No, they have 2 chapters devoted to epilogue.
Yeah, where we see Toriko's final complete full course.
And there's some epilogue stuff afterwards. And then it ends on a sort of on a recap ending. So it's like they echo some parts of the original opening.
Yeah,
but if they go past that point, we're gonna end up in some serious Bleach Boruto jumping the shark moment, because at that point there's no place for it to go.
I mean, literally, they've started talking about galactic food now, and I'm like, seriously, this is just insane.
Galactic levels. Like, we're talking they literally said that the Big Bang, that there is still food yet undiscovered as a result of the Big Bang.
No, not the Big Bang, the gourmet Big Bang.
Because you have to put gourmet in front of everything.
Not to mention, there are the gourmet gods. Who apparently...
Yes, there are gourmet celestial beings that are still going out and hunting and doing all this food stuff.
And apparently, each one of the villain or Acacia's family seemed to have been in an aspect of each one of those gods, apparently. Maybe they were incarnations of them.
So, they talk about the final frontier, and it ends... That's where the last chapter ends. I hope that they just leave it there, because if they continue that shit, I think we're going to lose some heads.
I think I'm going to stop reading after that. It stopped for me here. It's... Because honestly...
Well, it's like Bleach.
Yeah.
It's like Bleach should have stopped after they dealt with Aizen.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it. I think what ended up happening is that the original author was like, man, I'm getting tired of this. I'm just going to wrap this up and move on to a new project. Because it kind of feels like it was a rush, don't you think?
Yeah, it was, because...
I stopped reading after they left the Soul Society.
and it got so out of proportion, it feels like they were just trying to get control of it again. Like, you said, with the food being just incoherent to you.
Yeah.
I think that they were trying to grasp it and sort of tie it down before it got away from itself.
Yeah, well, I think Toriko got away from itself, same with Bleach, but in different ways.
Yeah, and
one thing
I know is
that... I'm just going to quickly say this. Kubo has a real bad problem with designing characters and making them and doing absolutely jack shit with them.
Oh, we know. We've had the Bleach discussion, but the other thing I was going to say is I also re-caught up on Shokugeki no Shoma Food Wars.
And how was that?
If I want to continue using the Kenichi analogy, we're getting into the late game. We're getting towards what I think would be the final showdown if the Kenichi analogy is still going properly. So I'm looking. It looks like they made some considerable progress. I'm looking forward to see where they go with it. And I think that covers it. Oh, my Thanksgiving. I went to one of the law students' houses. We all brought food. There was about 5 or 6 of us, and we just had a good time.
Nice little potluck.
Nice little potluck with a bonfire at the end, so it was pretty good. I had plenty of leftovers.
Well, that's a requirement.
Right. I think that's about it. Muzi, why don't you go next?
Haven't really been doing anything real super epic. Been working on a Christmas present, and then that took forever.
And then,
Still not totally done with it. I have to pick up a couple things to finish it off. Mostly gaming and housework, and I've been sucked into, obviously, Pokemon, and
we'll get to that.
yeah, been playing the Ezio collection,
So,
remastered.
so you've not been playing a good game lately.
Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
That's true. It's true.
Fair enough.
You haven't been. You only been. I just want to bring this up because you didn't mention it. Did you stop playing Dragon Quest Builder Zero?
I did, to be honest, mainly because other games came up.
Okay, fair enough.
It's one of those, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, I'm like,
Okay.
And I recently acquired the guide for it,
Okay.
so that should be interesting. It should help me like figure out where I can find certain things easier
Gotcha.
because it has maps.
bully.
Maps help. Maps help quite a bit.
And I finally got my guide for Sun and Moon,
Nice.
Hardcover or softcover?
hardcover.
Oh god, I need to get that.
Always get it hard.
It's beautiful.
I need to grab that, to be honest.
You gotta grab the hardcover Zero.
Shut it, Leo.
Hey, it took you long enough.
Sammy's not here.
Mhm.
I can appreciate that.
Oh god, I'm gonna smack you all.
Seen a couple of movies. Went and saw Fantastic Beasts like twice.
Nice.
And then you saw like another movie like 6 times as well.
Oh good lord. I'm having a brain fart.
What movie you seen like twice?
Doctor
Or-
Strange.
Yes.
Yeah, that's strange.
Oh my god, it's epic.
Yeah, you saw that like what, 6 or 8 times now?
Probably about 5.
God damn, there really is nothing to do up there, is there?
Hey,
Better in the winter, no.
when your dad works a couple of nights down there as a manager and gets free passes?
Well, I guess I can't argue with that.
I mean, to be fair, Zero, there have been a couple of times you and I and Legend have gone to the horse races because that's what your mom, or that's because that was in season for you and your mom.
Yeah, in fact, race horse season for our town is starting in December.
Oh, good. There you go. So we might have to go to the races maybe one day we're there.
Maybe.
And I'm looking forward to seeing Moana. I haven't seen it yet.
Which one?
Nearby.
The new Disney one, Moana.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. The one with the Dwayne Rock.
Yeah,
Yes.
Dwayne Johnson's in it. Yeah.
Yes.
So far, I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah,
I got 97 on
And
Rotten
it's
Tomatoes.
been a pretty busy movie, according to my dad. So
So it looks like it's a good one.
I'm wondering if I can convince my parents to go tonight, since my dad doesn't work tonight. As far as I know.
Gotcha.
Maybe he does. I'm not sure. His schedule's been wonky with Thanksgiving.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that. So
Anyone start Christmas shopping yet?
Yep.
Ugh.
Yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
I already have you guys done, and it's mailed off.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah,
Yep.
Moosey's sending
Akari
it to
has
me.
you guys done as well, and it's in the same box. It should be there around the 5th.
Alright, then I'm not going to open it until Leo, Legend, and me are all in the same room together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Zero already knows for mine whose is whose, so... And
Yeah,
he put
mainly
Akari
because-
put sticky notes on the different gifts that he got you, so you know whose is whose.
Okay.
And I've already finished with Akari, Yami, almost. I need to pick up one or two things. I also hope her birthday present, because her birthday's like 2 days before Christmas.
I'm going to be completely honest. I'm horrible at getting gifts for people.
I think you do a decent job.
My default option is gift cards.
but you've been better about it because you've done so well with the gift exchange with you, me, Legend, Tails, and Buck.
Well, that's because my mom usually kind of helps me with an idea.
Well, we also put like a little gift list saying, "Hey, here are some ideas of what you could get us."
Yeah, I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah, so I mean, you're getting better.
Yeah, and again, I'm also horrible to gift for because usually I'm like, I've got everything.
Yes, because you're. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
No.
That joke.
My dad's a pain in the ass to buy for because
No.
we asked him what he wants for Christmas.
No, my father's the same way, Muzi. I understand what you mean. My father's the same way.
So it's like it's a mixture of Zero and my dad to get something for Ryomo because he buys everything that he really wants, and then when you ask him what he wants besides that,
That's exactly me. That is exactly me.
Although I will say this year, it actually was really easy to get my dad something. And the difficult one is going to be my mom because I just haven't seen her in so long.
Getting a gift from...
Well, my mom just got a brand new job. And
awesome.
So she doesn't have to wear a uniform anymore when she fully starts that job. She can wear like business casual stuff. We had already gone out to Fred Meyer and gotten some Christmas shopping for her done, and it was clothes. So now that stuff she's going to be able to wear at her new job.
Nice.
Speaking of moms
cute.
Getting jobs, my mom actually just recently applied for a part-time job at the racetrack.
It makes sense.
Didn't your mom just retire a couple of years ago?
She did, and now she's going stir crazy.
Yeah.
Stir crazy.
I mean, my father has always joked about that, saying that retirement will be when he only has to work one job. Because my dad is a little bit of a workaholic, but he means well and he does it to help out the family. So
yeah, basically, my mom just got a job with the Racehorse Association. Basically, she's just going to be there, like the front desk, just talking with people and just like getting them a drink or something. Or she's basically just going to be like a secretary.
So getting more socialization, so she's not dependent on you coming over all the time.
Oh, she's still going to need me to come to... She's still going to need me at home because...
She still needs
Probably
Zero.
not as much.
She still needs Zero to be the muscle.
And that's sad because I am a scrawny
I was about
bastard.
to say.
I don't know how many times your mom has panicked about something, Zero. And me and Legend have been like, where Legend at least is a little bit more in shape than the three of us, let's be honest.
And at least he's a judo master.
I am fat. You are skinny fat. Like, Legend is out of the three of us the most healthy.
But you are still a shape.
But arguable. But at least I'm at least plucky and I know a thing or two about stuff. So it's like, we can help you if you need it. And you've never taken us up on that offer.
Yeah. Well, I have, but I don't want to put you guys out of, I just...
We are your friends. This is what we do.
Well, A, you're like 1,000 miles away.
Well, currently, I mean, while the time that I was available to do it.
And B, Legend's about as dependable as a clock that's only right twice.
Well, because you tell him stuff in advance, so that way he does it. And even then, because apparently he was not informed that he was going to be away from this particular podcast until the night before. So
even though we had told him the dates that we were recording.
I mean.
Well, he can't help it if family.
He can't. I mean, we've had situations where we've literally thrown our plans out the window. Like that one time we went to Hobby Lobby.
Oh, God. Let's not talk about that.
You want me to tell the time about we went to Hobby Lobby and Zero screamed like a little girl?
Hobby Lobby? What?
Hobby Lobby is a local arts and crafts store.
It's the one that closes on Sundays and claims that they are a Christian-focused company. Those people. The craft folks.
Yeah.
Anyway, and sorry, I just need to state that we just discussed that the Hobby Lobby case in class, so I'm a little sore about it. Anyway, so Legend gets a call while we're hanging out one day, and his sister needs to go to Hobby Lobby to pick up some crafts for some project she's doing, and she has her friend with her, and Legend's like, shit, I have to go ahead and go help my sister. So I turned to him and like, we can just go with you. We don't have to just stop. We can just go along with you and make it at least more tolerable. So I drive Legend's shotgun, and it's Zero, Legend's sister, and her friend in the back seat.
Yeah, and I'm stuck in the middle.
And pretty much everything is fine up until we leave the Hobby Lobby.
To which you need to make a U-turn.
Okay, so let me explain how this. So we exit the Hobby Lobby from the parking lot and go towards the street, turn into the street. Now the street is bifurcated by an island, so the island separates which way goes one way and which one goes the other. And so the island is close to is where the turning lane is. So I head straight for the island, and I'm going to do a sharp turn so that way I can be in the lane and no one tries and bumps me. And so I'm heading straight for the island. And then all of a sudden, I hear in the back 3 girly shrieks as Legend's sister, her friend, and Zero all scream at me, thinking I'm going to hit the island.
Well, to be honest, you were kind of driving a little erratically.
Well, when we're at that particular intersection, you have to go fast in order to not get caught. So that is why, like, for the longest time, Zero kept calling me the worst driver of the 3 of us.
Oh, you still are. You drive as bad as a Chihuahuan driver. I'm not going to lie.
Fuck off!
Now, boys, come on.
You drive 10 miles under the speed limit half the time.
I'd ask if we need to separate you, but you're in different states.
Only in state, only in city, out of city, I will go ahead and drive appropriately.
Sure.
No. And then I went and picked up a digital copy of, like, a really, really old movie.
By the way, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Legend's not that much better of a driver. He brakes way too late.
That might be the car more than him, but let's not take more Moosey's time.
All right, sorry.
Because we really detracted from Moosey's week just to reminisce about old times.
Sorry.
Sorry, Moosey.
So, anything else?
I picked up a movie from the 80s.
Which one?
Like, this movie is a year older than I am. So.
Which one?
Cloak and Dagger.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, bye.
It actually has the kid from E.T. in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He, like, overhears these spies plotting to smuggle, like, information out of the U.S., and obviously none of the adults he knows are believing him.
Oh, it's one of those movies. It's like War Games.
And so he starts playing this game called Cloak and Dagger and starts fantasizing.
Oh, it really is one of those. Okay.
With, the secret agent Jack Flag. Well, eventually, it actually becomes he literally actually has to act like a spy because he has to take on these spies when he gets a hold of, I guess, if I remember correctly, what they were trying to smuggle.
Really?
Yeah, and it's actually a really good movie. I hadn't seen it in years, and I realized, well, wait a minute, I wonder if iTunes has it.
Huh.
So for like $10, I now have a digital copy of the movie.
Huh, interesting. Kari, have you ever seen War Games?
Oh yeah, I've watched it plenty of times with my mother. It's one of her favorite movies.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I'm reminded of.
So it's a year older than I am.
Damn.
Wow.
That's an old
like,
movie.
Geez.
Pretty much so.
It's the best movie ever, but it becomes like a classic after you watch it, because you're like, wow, 80s, but yet they pull this off, you know?
Also, everyone knows how old Muzi is now.
Oh, well.
Well, technically, Akari and Muzi are the most senior members of, in terms of age at least, of the Hunters.
I mean, technically, I'm the youngest Hunter.
Yeah, you're younger than me, technically.
Yes. Yeah, I'm technically the one who's technically lived out of the house.
Yeah, that's also true.
Anyway, moving on. Akari, how is your... Muzi, do you have any more?
Well, Thanksgiving was kind of short for us.
Oh.
It was short.
Well, they made my mom work on Thanksgiving, even though she's a regular employee, which means she shouldn't have been working, and still getting paid for it. They're mad because she's leaving her current job, and so she's having a split time between her current job and her new one until next Saturday, and then she's done.
Gotcha. So someone's a little butthurt is what you're saying.
Yeah, they made her work on Thanksgiving. Originally, she was supposed to be done at noon, and then they changed it from 10:30 to 2:30. Luckily, my dad had the day off during the day. He had to work a shift down at the theater, but in the evening. But we already knew that was coming. So while she was gone, he finished cooking whatever we hadn't finished. Because we'd gotten, like, the pies and stuff done, like, day before. So we had all that stuff done. It was mostly just, like, throwing the turkey breast in the oven and, you know.
Nice.
Poof.
Fixing up a couple of sides. You know. After a while, I couldn't move.
From fatness?
Then I remembered we had pie.
And your pie stomach kicked in?
Well, luckily my dad brought me the pie, so I didn't have to move.
Oh.
And then he brought over the can of Ready Whip because we weren't satisfied with how much Ready Whip he put on our pie.
Oh.
He puts this tiny little squirt on a piece of apple and a piece of pumpkin pie. And we're like, that's it?
Okay, that's insulting.
I gotta agree with Zero on that one.
So he brings over the can because we're just like, that's better. We're like,
yes.
Trust me.
My mom forgets how fast it's gonna come out of the can, so when she goes to squirt it on hers, it goes.
see, I just ignore the middleman entirely.
Squirt it on yourself.
Yes, straight into the mouth.
And I'm thinking of something completely different. God damn it.
You know what? You know what? To be fair, I walked into that one. I will go ahead and claim that was a self-inflicted foul.
I have a rule for pie when it comes to whipped cream. No shorter than 5 seconds.
There needs to be.
I thought the rule was
covering over the entire top.
I thought the rule was I thought the rule was you pull out.
No.
Because we're talking about cream pies.
I know, and I'm saying no, you don't pull out when it comes to whipped cream. You go for at least 5 seconds or more.
No, I'm making a euphemism, damn it!
I know you are.
He's just ignoring
it. Anyway, let's get to Akari's week. We faffed about enough.
You're just fun when you get like this, Zero.
There is not enough faffing.
Of course not.
Alright,
okay, how's your week, Akari?
Besides my job being a little bit weird lately, I don't want to go into that. Not much besides the usual. And obviously I went down Black Friday shopping. Thanksgiving went well. I helped my mom with a bunch of stuff, and I helped clean afterwards.
Oh yeah, I forgot the Black Friday shop. To mention the Black Friday shopping, we put him through the ringer because he went with both me and Yami at the same time.
Oh dear.
And for some periods of time, we would spend like 25 minutes in the car just playing Pokemon Go and not even moving.
And you caught a Ditto, didn't you?
Yeah? Screw you both. I just hate you both for that.
We both ended up catching 3, and he only got 1.
Aw, poor guy.
It's like, screw you both.
Nah,
Hey, it's not our fault we didn't know which Pokemon the other 2 came from.
Yes, it is.
Alrighty then.
Someone's in a grumpy mood.
Well, he's also salty because we have Dratini and he doesn't.
Well, no, I was. I just said that yesterday. I'm not.
No, I can sense your salt, Akari.
No, the salt only appears when there's one nearby and he can't find it.
No, I'm salty because of the fact I had 2 10K eggs in a row that were freaking Onyxes.
Oh, that hurts.
In the same day.
The same day.
And that's sad considering that Onyx are very common around here.
He got one in an incense before, so he already had one. I have amazingly only hatched 1 Onyx. I keep getting multiples of Pinsir, Scyther, Aerodactyl, stuff like that. Stuff I already have.
Alrighty. So, anything else going on?
Besides the game we're going to talk about later, the other one I've been playing is Telltale Batman, which I just finished episode 4.
Oh yes, I've watched that. Oh my god.
I played it once, where I swear this one had like the toughest one of the toughest decisions ever. It's I gotta give it like a mild spoiler warning for anyone who listens. There's a choice at the end where Oswald Cobblepot, after he takes over Wayne Enterprises, he's hacking Batman's tech, and you get to go and stop him, or you have to stop Two-Face from attacking Wayne Manor, and Alfred's there. So you're kind of torn. What's more important?
One option is more badass than the other.
Because one is, so I chose the Two-Face option first, and I went and replayed it, and it was so much satisfying to wipe the smirk off Oswald Cobblepot's face.
Well, because I had watched the Cobblepot version before he had done the Mansion version, and I'm like, okay, the Cobblepot option is more badass.
It is more badass because the fact that these two went fist to fist with each other, and at the end, Batman just breaks both of his knees.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's brutal.
He breaks both of the Penguin's knees. And you can choose either to punch him out, like knock him out, or just straight. I'm like, nah, he's had enough.
Harsh.
That's brutal.
But the thing that sucks is at the end of the Cobblepot ending, the Wayne Manor gets burned down.
But the Batcave is fine.
Yeah, and basically that part goes, one of the policeman's like, Mayor, you think it's a little too far? What are we gonna say? And he's like, say Wayne put up a fight. And it ends right there. But if you choose the Two-Face ending, Cobblepot almost succeeds in hacking the tech, and Batman has no choice but to cut the power to the computer.
Which really blows, because then for the next episode, you probably won't have Batman's tech.
Yeah, so I'm like, I think going after the tech is more important, because you need that stuff in order to, continue your investigation.
Yeah.
The Telltale one I'm getting most excited about right now, though, is that we finally get Walking Dead Season 3 in December.
Thank God.
Fun.
But the good thing with the Batman one is that, unlike Telltale, who randomizes when, every 2-3 months, Batman has been coming out, every month, ever since September.
Oh, that's why they pushed Walking Dead to December? So they're not having to alternate which one they bring out?
Oh, yeah.
They'll be able to bring out Walking Dead each month like they did Batman.
I gotta say, as of right now, Batman's probably my favorite Telltale game, up there with The Walking Dead.
Again, I've never really played a
I would
Telltale
recommend it to
game.
anyone who is. I mean, I know Zero's not a Telltale guy, But I would definitely recommend checking this game out. It is really, really good.
Yeah, if you're even a slight Batman fan, I mean, it's a good one to just have some fun with.
I mean, to be honest, I actually have more fun with this one than the Arkham games, because I am more of a guy that's more for like story-driven material, and this is very story-driven with all the twists and turns they put in this thing.
Well, and you're personally influencing the story.
Yes. So they dug deep into the lore of the comics and then put some new stuff in it. So yes, I would say check this one out.
Cool. Alrighty then. So that it for everyone's weeks?
Yes. How was your Thanksgiving, Akari? Anything notable?
Not really. I mean, all my mom and I did cooking, cleaning. After cooked turkey. It's just a turkey breast. We did that. We made stuffing. She made yams with, I swear, I'm not kidding here, peppermint, candy cane flavored marshmallows. And it smells
really?
Yeah, she actually did. She actually went there.
Well, and I made my mom scream because while we were eating our meal, we've been going through the first season of Supergirl because they hadn't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the final 2 episodes on the set, and my mom is like, "What?"
Good lord.
So now she's got to catch up and watch the episodes for the second season that have been out so far.
And I think for what we watched, Mom and I, we watched Zootopia, and then we went rewatched
for the zillionth time.
Yeah, Bill, who's counting? For the other one movie we watched is we rewatched Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl. And
classic.
That movie is still funny to this day. I still love.
I like it more than any of the sequels.
Oh, it's definitely much better than the sequels.
Some of the sequels can be fun though.
Yeah, they can, but I love the appeal of the original because it doesn't feel overblown as the other ones later on, but it's just a simplistic
You mean Will Turner isn't as annoying as he gets later?
He's still an idiot in the first movie.
Yeah, but he's a lovable idiot. He doesn't turn into Titus.
Will Turner gets to the point where I just want to string him up somewhere and leave him there because he just whines through the entire thing.
It's like, oh my god, dude, get over it.
It's like, gah!
And I swear, some people say I do a pretty good Jack Sparrow impersonation sometimes when it turns out my voice is right.
Alrighty.
Okay, I think we're pretty much good. I think we all want to go ahead and get to what we've all been doing for the past couple of weeks, and for a few of us still are into.
That's what I'm currently doing right now.
Right.
Same here.
So let's get into it. We all got our hands on Pokemon Sun and Moon, either one version or the other.
I got both.
Both.
Okay. Am I and Legend the only ones who actually only got one version?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Anyway,
to be fair, I've had them pre-ordered for a while, so I was putting little bits on them at a time. So
same here.
Okay, that's fair. By the way, I'm just looking out. I can't believe how dark it's getting now.
How dark is it?
It's already like night, and it's not a time that it should be night.
Oh, jeez.
And it's only going to get worse.
Oh, really?
As the days go on, I'm going to be waking up when there is no sun. I will be going and working, and when I get out, there will be no sun.
Welcome to our world in the winter.
Yes, I'm going to be Alaskan. Anyway,
you finally realize what it's like, except for up here, it lasts longer.
Yes,
it does.
Okay, so a couple of ground rules. First off, Legend actually hasn't touched this copy of the game, so he doesn't have any commentary that I can pass on.
I thought he had at least made his character.
No, he still in the box. Apparent was his words when we last spoke. So he has not had a chance to look at it. I guess just school being school with him.
Well, yeah.
Secondly, we're going to keep this pretty tailored or pretty narrow. We're only going to talk up to about Akala Island, which is the second island in the game, and nothing beyond that, because then it gets into spoilery territory.
And oh God Almighty.
And boy, does it ramp up. So if you don't want to hear anything about Pokemon Sun and Moon and you want to be pure, I'm pretty sure Zero will go ahead and put tags in where you can just skip to when we talk about the regular news. But for those of you who want to hear what the Legend Hunters have to say about SuMo, stick around.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So...
please come back for the rest of it.
Yeah, please come back for the rest of it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. First impressions, guys.
Oh my God!
Lovely.
I will confess, this is probably my favorite game of this, my favorite generation of the series by far, of how they did everything.
Nostalgia of the Pokemon that they've shoved in here. And they didn't tell us about all of the old ones they put in, which I loved.
They definitely got a much better, I think they did a much better job of diversifying this region compared to X and Y, and they still had a lot of secrets like in Black and White. I feel like
they didn't tell us what Pokemon, besides a couple of them that they had put in the game.
Right. They definitely. I think there's like going to be like 400 or so, 400 plus Pokemon by the end, because it definitely feels like it's well parsed.
I think each,
God, yes.
Yeah, pretty much each island has a little bit over 100 or about 120 Pokemon on each.
But there's overlap, because there's quite a few Pokemon that are recounted for each island dex.
Of course.
So it's a little bit less. I'm probably overstating it, but it definitely feels like there's a lot more variety, and I know I'm nowhere even close to completing it.
And of course, all the trainers have different Pokemon.
Actually, yeah, that's something I was thinking about. The trainers, even if you're fighting trainers of a similar class within like a single route, there's a lot more trainer diversity, and there's a lot more Pokemon with each trainer that's diverse.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels a lot more unique in that aspect.
And I really like these one sets of trainers, the tourists.
Oh yeah, because the tourists will have the classic versions of a lowland Pokemon. So there'll be classic Ninetales, classic Marowak, classic Meowth, etc.
Yeah.
And you actually still get to see the classic versions of those Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they're making us wait till January to be able to use these games with the Pokebank. Right. So they're pretty much forcing us to trade so we can get the version exclusives.
Right, and you're not going to be able to get any Kanto specific versions until then, because that's when they also roll out the transporter from Generation 1.
Yes.
Which I'm really gonna be interested in seeing how they do that conversion from Generation 1 to Generation 7. I am very curious in seeing what kind of results you get when you import your Pokemon. Yeah,
because that's such a huge generational gap. Not to mention that there was also the abilities, the physical and special split.
Right, so I don't think the physical special split will be... The one that's going to be shocking is the special attack and special defense splits. That's going to be the most jarring.
Yeah, weren't most Kanto Pokemon, weren't their specials, once they were split, weren't they pretty identical?
In Generation 2 only. In Generation 3, they went ahead and actually balanced it out to okay, so you're specially offensive or specially defensive or both, but they actually made those changes in Gen 3.
Okay, so that's...
Rather than just an outright, okay, now we just separated it so that we're clear. There's special attack and special defense.
And of course, with previous generations, some Pokemon stats were upped or lowered.
They did that quite a bit in this one, too. Muzi, Akari, did you guys feel like any Pokemon got stronger or weaker for you guys?
I haven't really experimented as much as I want to so far.
I honestly didn't notice any difference.
They did change a couple of abilities on certain Pokemon. Most notably, Pelipper and Torkoal now carry Drizzle and Drought, respectively.
Gengar also doesn't have Levitate anymore and instead
Yeah,
has Curse Body.
Yeah, I did tell Legend about this change, and that is Gengar now no longer has Levitate. It instead has Cursed Body.
And he was pissed.
I think we broke him with that.
Yeah, it was really jarring. Okay, let's not try and go into a technical fest. We can save that for little bits here and there. So why don't we just talk about, first off, what are your guys' teams? What are you guys currently rocking as you're exploring around? And as long as it's not legendaries, go ahead and name them off.
All right, so for my team, I chose Poplio, so I've got Primarina. I've also gotten a Alolan Raichu.
Of course.
I got the evolved form of Pick-a-Peck, Toucanon, Lycanroc Moon form, Komodo, and Delmise, which is this weird anchor thing that is really rare.
It's a grass ghost anchor.
Yeah.
That has that's ability gives it STAB on Steel type moves.
So technically, it has STAB with Ghost, Grass, and Steel.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. So,
Muzi, what are you rocking on your team?
Well, it's not fully solid because I'm still encountering new ones that I kind of want to use, but right now I've got my Espeon going.
Okay.
My Pikachu, I haven't evolved it yet. I've got Fomantis right now for rocking the grass for a little bit.
Nice.
I got Poplio at the beginning, so I have Primarina. I've got a Growlithe that I'm working on. Once it learns Crunch, I'm going to evolve it. And then I've got the Sun version of Lycanroc.
Nice.
Makari, what was your team?
Okay, I do have a legendary on mine, but I'm going to exclude him for right now. Besides him, I have Incineroar, Sylveon, Alolan Raichu, Snorlax, and Gyarados.
All right.
And
that's good.
Yourself, Leo?
I have Incineroar. I have a Sarina for grass types.
All right.
Alolan Raichu. I have a Alolan Ninetales also.
Nice.
Oh, I can't wait to get...
Slowbro. And Lycanroc midday form. I also, for a while, I had Toucanon as a team member, and Salazzle.
I did have Toucanon in my party for a while. It's still kind of fluid because I'm still trying to figure out who I actually want to use.
Right.
By the way, my Primarina has like some ungodly crazy special attack stat.
Even amongst the species?
Yeah, I checked the IVs on it. It's like 28 IVs.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I think there was something where there was something, I think they changed it so that way there was always going to be a high IV number, at least one on the starters. Because I think they did something like that for the legendaries, where they had at least 2 or 3 perfect IVs.
Well, with every single mystery gift legendary that I've gotten, they've had at least 3 to 4 perfect IVs on them.
Those two. Yeah, they do have. They did something to where it's more consistent on the IV stuff.
Mm-hmm. EV training, however, I have no idea how to do that in this game.
Okay, I did check into this. EV training, you're gonna have to go back and do it the old-fashioned way.
Oh, goody! Fight monsters.
Yes, you can't just hack your way into it with super training. However, there is a trade-off though, and that's called hyper training.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows you to artificially boost your Pokemon's IVs to 31.
Really?
Now, I say artificially because it doesn't change it in terms of breeding. So you can't essentially breed perfect Pokemon all the time. But for that chosen Pokemon, it can battle as if it has 31 IVs.
Really?
So for competitive purposes, you don't need to breed a perfect IV Pokemon.
You just need to put it through hyper training.
You just need to put it through hyper training. Now the problem with hyper training is that number one, you need to max out the Pokemon's level at 100.
Okay, fair enough. I tend to do that anyway.
Second problem is you have to be able to acquire bottle caps in order to do this. And there are two types of bottle caps. Ones are regular type bottle caps, which will let you just boost any one Pokemon's one statistic to maximum IV value.
I have a couple of those.
And golden bottle caps, which lets you boost all of them.
I know you can get bottle caps through fishing.
They're available through fishing, although it's apparently a lot easier if you manage to do the Festival Plaza thing.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay, so basically Festival Plaza is Joint Avenue meets Street Pass.
Okay.
Pretty much.
I'm sorry?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. So you need to be around people in order for you to exchange stuff and get that rolling. But once you do, then you can start building up your town, getting new shops, getting new things, switching out stuff, and working it that way.
Okay.
Let's see, what else do I got here? Okay, so remember how early on they said that there's going to be a 12-hour time difference between Pokemon Sun and Moon?
Yeah?
Yep.
What they actually fucking meant was that Pokemon Moon reverses the timetable.
Yeah?
Yeah, I already knew that.
I did not.
Really?
Well, what that means is that if you're playing, let's say it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
If you play Moon during the day, it's going to be dark.
Yes. And if you play Moon during night, it will be day.
Yep.
Which is crazy as hell.
But it makes sense.
Kind of, yeah. So that's how that is altered. And so you don't have to worry about that too much. I think the only Pokemon that's majorly affected is Gumshoos and Raticate in terms of time differences.
Yeah, that's pretty much because I've barely seen.
Well, and your Rockruff will only evolve version specific.
Oh yeah, so the Rockruff, regardless of what time it is, midday will only evolve in Sun, and midnight will only evolve in Moon. But you can still catch the other variants.
Yes, I caught a midday Lycanroc later on.
Okay.
You just can't evolve it yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Akari, have you been in an SOS battle yet?
Don't get me started on those.
Repeatedly.
Let's get you started on those. Tell us about the SOS battles.
Oh my god, SOS, I got to say, is the only bullshit thing I have about this game. I mean, here you are catching this little Pokemon, and it does its cry, and there's a 50-50 chance another one will pop out of nowhere, and it prolongs the battle. I mean, I had one where I'm trying to catch this Execute, and I keep, making it, knocking it off, and the other one keeps summoning another one, and this went on for almost 20 minutes.
Yeah, I had the same issue when I was trying to catch a Caterpie of all things.
I wish we stuck with Horde battles.
Okay, let me tell you about the good things about SOS battles. For one thing, SOS battles, there are certain Pokemon you can only get with SOS battles.
Yeah, I was about to say.
There's a Pokemon that you can encounter later. There are certain Pokemon that you can only get through SOS battles later on, and I'm not going to say which, but it's not majorly important, but there are only certain ones you can get through that one. Secondly, if you keep spawning SOS Pokemon and keep the original one alive and keep spawning a second one, it creates a chain. And the further up you go to that chain, it maxes out at 7 Pokemon. And that 7th Pokemon has a higher chance of having perfect IVs or being shiny.
You're shitting
Still
me.
Annoying as hell.
Nope. It has a higher chance of higher IVs or shininess. Let me just check Cerebi just to make sure I'm not pulling this out of my butt.
It's still annoying as hell.
Yes, that is correct. It goes ahead and it will go ahead and increase the odds of encountering a shiny Pokemon or encountering Pokemon with hidden abilities.
Hot damn.
So, also, apparently, it also multiplies the rate that you get. Naturally, it increases the ease of getting effort points for EVs. So, for example, you essentially summon one Pokemon, kick the other one's butts, and you grind it up much easier, kind of like with 4 battles.
Okay. So, say I need to raise a speed stat. I keep fight. I think Spearow is a speed
Yes,
stat. If you keep,
Spearow or Pikachu, for example, will do that.
so if I weaken a Spearow and have it keep summoning more Spearow, I can keep fighting those, and each one of those is basically worth, I think one speed EV. But with the bracer, it's worth 2.
Right. And then it basically doubles like that.
Uh-huh.
Also, those adrenaline orbs make it more likely to trigger, make it more likely for SOS calls to be answered. So those help increase the odds.
Yeah,
if you're trying to play that gamble.
I was having issues trying to summon a Jangmo with that because I kept getting a female version and I wanted a male version.
Right.
Because I wanted to name it after one of the fucking Pillar Men.
You could just capture the female one and then just breed it.
But then it'd be way too weak. By the way, the level I caught, because I was on Pony Island, all my Pokemon were about level 50 at that time.
Right.
And I had caught a Delmise, and its level was 15.
Dang.
However, the Komodo are in their level 40s, which means one level up, they'll immediately evolve into their mid form. A few more levels, they'll evolve into Komodo.
Okay.
So it's kind of insane how easy you can level up that Pokemon.
Okay, fair enough. There's also, you can even get even more Pokemon that aren't normally even in the Pokedex at the time of release, with Island Scan.
Uh-huh.
Has anyone done an Island Scan yet?
I have. You scan QR codes until you have like 10 points or 100 points. I'm not sure what the actual number is.
10 points. You scan 10 Pokemon and get 100 points.
Yep.
I've only scanned one Pokemon, and it was Pichu off of a website because I wanted to make sure it was in the right area.
Well, you scan the QR codes 10 times. You get this thing called an island scan, where it scans whatever island you're on for a rare Pokemon in a specific area.
Among these Pokemon, guys, include the Johto starters. You can actually get the Johto starters off of the first island using this method.
Yeah, there's a Totodile in a weird place that I couldn't get to.
I can show you how to get there later on, and also the island scans are on a daily cycle. So if you miss one out, you just have to wait a week, and then you can go try it again. So let me just I'm trying to look up. So amongst the Pokemon that are available, and this isn't spoilers because this is some of the Pokemon you can get include Cyndaquil, Totodile, Chikorita, Horsea, Dino, Gothita, Luxio, Honedge, Bellsprout, Meryl, and so many more.
Wow.
And I should also mention that I'm going to tease this. The Johto starters aren't the only starters that are available through this method.
Really now?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
So have fun scanning and going to different islands. And there's 28 island scan Pokemon in total. Based on the 7 days of the week and the 4 islands. So have fun.
Oh God.
With those. All right. I think Zero and I have slightly mentioned this already, but the difficulty of the game. How difficult do you find Sun and Moon compared to other games?
Well, compared to X and Y, it's a lot harder. Because X and Y was surprisingly easy to get through when you think about it.
It was easy.
They really balanced out not only how much experience you get with the EXP share, but the levels of the opponents.
Yeah, they did that. I think they also, and this is my little theory. I've heard nothing that says otherwise, but this is my personal theory. I think Game Freak actually gave trained Pokemon effort values because I at certain points in the game I was 6 to 8 levels ahead of trainers Pokemon, and only on a handful of cases would I be able to one-hit kill them with super effective moves.
Yeah, I'm having that issue right now. I'm actually fighting someone right now, and she's killed like 2 of my characters. I'm like level 60.
Battles.
I'm like level 66, and 2 of my Pokemon just died to a clef key.
The later battles get rough.
Yeah, and this is post game too. This is probably some of the rougher fights I've had.
Yeah, I'm still in game, and I know some of them are still. I had some of the battles being pretty rough with me. What about you? What about you, Akari Muzi? What do you guys think of the fights, the difficulty?
I think I agree with Zero. It's the fact that the other games felt kind of easy, but with this one, it did balance a lot of things out, but made it a little bit more challenging at the same time, which I actually am glad they did, because that's what I feel Pokemon games are mostly about. It's about challenges.
But they didn't make it impossible.
No,
it's not impossible. It's a good kind of difficult.
Yes.
I think one that is, I would say, fairly missed since Generation 2.
Yeah, because Gen 2 was pretty tough.
I think Gen 2 is the last time I remember really struggling with my Pokemon games. Generation 3, I don't know what they did, but I think 3 was a little bit easier. And then Gen 4 and even Gen 5, I was able to breeze through it with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions on certain battles. Aloe. Retaliate. I think we were having flashbacks to Whitney when we first saw Aloe and her retaliating Mongoose.
Mongoose.
Doesn't she also have a Stoutland?
I don't think in Black and White 1, not in 2.
Okay.
Black and White 1, I only remember just that. But anyway.
And again, in X and Y, my only fight that I had an issue with was Seabold, only because I didn't have anything to stop that Gyarados.
Right. I don't think I had any difficult fights in X and Y now that I think about it. I thought Lysandra was a bit of a joke. I remember the Elite Four being pretty much a joke for a balanced team. And I remember the champion not even being too much of a fight.
No.
I think that there was something lacking in the difficulty department there, and just they fixed that.
Yeah.
So do you guys have a favorite moment of the game yet in terms of the early portion that you really enjoyed?
Early portion?
Lizzie, any particular moments stick out to you since any moments stick out to you in particular that you liked?
Well, it's hard to single out ones because they just keep piling on the hilarity. I mean,
well, just name off a few and we'll get started.
It's like the first time you see the Masked Royale. It's like, oh my god.
The Masked Royale.
Professor,
we're
that you?
We're just sitting there going, oh, come on. Really?
It's like, this is too freaking obvious.
And he doesn't break kayfabe about it.
He never, breaks character. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's like...
It's just insane.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think I remember being like, oh, come the fuck on, when they introduced the professor's wife. I just remember, you're making that canon?
Yep.
And at the same time, thousands of fanboys and fangirls all silenced.
in an instant.
Nah, they're never going to be silenced.
I think this is arguably like one of the more definitive like silenced moments. Because I think aside from Elm and Birch, Kukui now joins the actually rather small move pool of currently married professors.
Yeah, because Oak's not married as far as we can tell.
Well, Oak had someone, because otherwise there would be no Gary Oak. Because there would be no Gary otherwise. But as far as we know, Mrs. Oak has either passed away or is no longer in the picture.
Yep.
Elm is married. Birch is married. Rowan is fairly senior and doesn't look like he's dating. And then you have Juniper, Professor Juniper, who, let's not even get started on the fan theories with her.
Yeah.
Fiddle.
And of course, Elder Juniper, we don't see a wife or anything.
Well, Elder Juniper, it's implied, because otherwise we wouldn't have the regular Juniper.
True.
So, I mean, and really, I'm only counting the main professors. Otherwise, I would have talked about another cameo that appears in Sun and Moon, but that's not related. The one that, and then the last one is everyone's favorite Frenchie Sycamore, who is single and can be implied to be hitting on your mom.
Oh yeah.
But I digress.
I wonder if that's the reason. I was about to say I was wondering if that's the reason why your mom moved to Kalos.
Oh dear God! I'm pretty sure that's answered in a fan fiction somewhere.
I don't want to read it because it's probably horrible.
Anyway, Akari, do you have a favorite personal moment?
I'm gonna be kind of weird here, but my favorite scene is when right after you choose your starter.
Oh yeah, that moment.
I found that moment so adorable, where you're looking at each other for a while, wondering if the Pokemon's gonna accept you, and then obviously it just jumps into your arms, and I'm like, oh, it's so cool.
That's so
well, and the funniest part is you can see the Pokemon kind of looking around like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I mean, that was a real world building moment there, where they didn't have to do that, but it made it so much better by putting it in.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Alola feels like the most fleshed out and alive region of any of the Pokemon games.
It certainly feels like it.
I'm serious. I can imagine this world existing.
Alright. This one should be slightly easier, but it's in the same vein as the last question. Favorite NPC?
Lily.
Gladian.
Mosey, you got one? And let's just not say names. Let's also give reasons.
Well, mine are kind of spoilery, but mainly it's because I like how well she develops over time.
That's kind of how the thing is with me with Gladian.
I know what both of you mean, but I'm going to put the because jokes.
Yeah.
In terms of actual character, I think I'm going to give it to Kukui. But in terms of theme music, Gladion has some awesome theme music.
Oh god,
yes, he does.
I enjoy the professor like way too much. He gets like way into everything he talks about.
I like
how involved the story.
Yeah, like
he does pun quite a bit also with his move references.
Yeah, like
yes, and you sit there and go, "Oh God, really?"
Let's move out of here with extreme speed.
He's also
use your agility.
He also apparently is super ripped because he, like Alder, trains with his Pokemon to the point that he takes their moves regularly.
And I love the fact that Olivia actually mentions, like, still can't find a shirt that fits you, huh?
Well, it's kind of a two-way street because she also kicks herself saying, like, I see them all. I see all you trainers as kids, even though I really don't have one. Even though I did she say I don't want one yet?
She doesn't have one yet.
She doesn't have one yet.
I'll say this much about Olivia. Her biological clock is ticking like an atomic bomb.
To be fair, like, I know this is kind of like yes, she's that kind of a character, but I think Game Freak was a little bit too ham-fisted in delivering the delivery. Like, they were like a couple of steps away from going full Bayo there. Especially when she goes ahead and gives you instructions on how to do the Z move from her, and she's like, especially the hip movements.
And you're like, whoa.
And it's like, oh dear God. Like, yeah, it's one of those.
Oh God, I just heard an amazing song in Moon right now, and God damn it.
Awesome.
But if I could be, yeah, Kukui is kind of awesome, and you're going to see why later on. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but he kind of does something that's kind of awesome. What else can we talk about?
I think we pretty much have I think we covered a good amount of it without getting into spoilery stuff. How did you guys like the ride pager system?
My God, it's beautiful and amazing, and I don't want it to ever leave me.
No more HM slaves.
Thank God.
But what job will Furret have now?
They might actually have to give it some decent moves.
Well, one of the only things that it can't really do is fly. I mean,
well, Tropius also is out of a job because it was also in one of those categories.
Aww.
Yeah, pretty much. You could learn fly, you could learn cut, you could learn strength, rock smash. Damn.
About it. Yeah, quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it. In terms of reviewing Pokemon Sun and Moon, again, go buy it if you haven't yet. Maybe by the time the next podcast comes out, Legend will have played a little bit more, and he'll give his opinions.
Hopefully he'll have gotten to at least Ula Ula or maybe the pony.
We'll see. Anyway, we got news.
Yeah, and the first one still has to do with Sun and Moon.
Well, this is more of a public service announcement for people who have beaten the game already. Not really spoilers, but this is more just a public service announcement that kind of mirrors what happened last time around, actually, with X and Y.
However, there's a reason why this glitch is happening.
Right. So apparently there was a glitch that was coming out where players lose their data if they save in the Pokemon Center at the Battle Tree, which is the new battle complex that you go to post game.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason for that apparently was the result is a conflict with a unauthorized homebrew program
called PK
and not
Hacks.
a glitch with it, not a error within the game itself.
in other words, don't screw with your 3DS or your game.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're okay.
If I recall right, PK Hex messes with data so you could give your Pokemon like perfect stats or change the Pokemon or even change your location and stuff like that.
Well, it's like PokeGen, but for the newer games. However,
pretty much hacking the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but because of the way that Nintendo has been upping their anti-piracy network, you have to do a lot. You have to mess with a lot more game files, and so it's a bit different. Either way, it has been publicly addressed that it's a result of a of using an outdated hacking program and not an actual glitch related to the Pokemon Company and Nintendo.
It's like when you corrupt a file
Yeah.
on your computer from Windows and then expect it to work.
It's not going
Right.
to.
Right.
So...
And then both Akari and Muzi mentioned this one, so I'll just quickly go over it. Ditto officially released from Pokemon Go.
Yep. And...
It brings capturing some of the just generic Pokemon to a whole new level, because it's not just like some of the lower level Pokemon like Zubat, Pidgey, and Rattata. It's actually been confirmed that there's a pretty big list of Pokemon that it could actually be. And so you only find out that you have it once you've captured a Pokemon, and instead of gotcha, it goes, oh, and then you see it transform into Ditto.
Oh, that's clever.
It is very clever.
So you have no idea whether a Pokemon that you're catching could be Ditto.
But
Interesting.
that'll suck if you're thinking, oh my god, it's a Dragonite. Wait, what?
So far, nobody, as far as I've heard, has encountered it's a Dragonite and then, oh look, a Ditto, but it doesn't look like they've done any of the majorly evolved Pokemon.
Okay, so it's probably just like pre-evolutions or weaker Pokemon.
Yeah.
Mostly
But
Rattatas
it
or
brings
Pidgeys
new
or mostly.
excitement into catching those Pokemon, because you're never quite sure whether it is going to be a Ditto or not.
That's quite clever.
Right now, they also have, until the 30th, they have an event going on where capturing Pokemon gets you double EXP and Stardust.
Nice.
And so I've been milking that for all it's worth.
Excellent.
Especially when you have a Pogo Plus, like if you're like in the car and it goes off, you can just keep hitting it.
Nice.
You're potentially catching all of these Pokemon as you're going from place to place.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. The next story kind of coincides with the last one because it's more hacking.
Yep.
People who got leaked copies of Pokemon Sun and Moon via ROMs got themselves kicked out of online access.
Forever
by playing Pokemon Sun and Moon early.
And that is why you do not pirate games.
Yeah, unlike previous bans, this one doesn't ban you from the game. It prevents you from getting online at all with the 3DS system. Period.
I'm not one to advocate for piracy. The only thing I would ever advocate for is basically downloading like cracks for games so you could get rid of like the DRM in games. That's like the only thing I would be for.
Even still, this is pretty crappy.
Yeah, it is.
The only ROMs I ever get is like ones that you can't get here, like old games, like really old games.
Ones
like
that would cost you hundreds of dollars to otherwise acquire.
Well, yeah, and ones you can't acquire over here, but yet have been translated.
Also those, yeah.
Like, there's a Sailor Moon game that we have the ROM for that we know we're never going to be able to get here, but fans translated it so we could play it.
Right. Let's see. So there's that. WTF Moment of the week. YouTube removes B-movie memes due to its policy on spam, deception, and scams, then puts the movies back up.
Okay.
So, who remembers the Bee movie?
You mean that horrible movie where a woman wanted to fuck a bee?
Yes, the one with Jerry Seinfeld.
So in other words, a really crap movie.
Akari, save
funny.
yourself.
It's funny.
I don't plan on seeing it.
I don't know why you guys all hate the Bee movie so much.
I don't hate it so much as I'm just like, eh.
I'm surprised you don't hate it because it makes a mockery of the legal system as well in that.
I mean, it's Jerry Seinfeld. I love Jerry Seinfeld. You guys have to be more positive.
Shut up, Leo.
Nah, that one wasn't even worth a shut up.
What's the buzz, you guys?
Still not worth it.
At least it's not all about birds and the bees.
We'll comb it over. Anyway, so the idea is that this YouTuber, Darcy Grievous, showcased a bunch of memes related to the Bee Movie, and YouTube pulled most of those videos down.
Really?
Yes, apparently the meme videos were a violation of spam, deceptive practices, and scams, according to YouTube's policy program.
That was complete and utter asinine bullshit.
But apparently not, because they essentially reversed their decision and put the videos all back up.
Well, naturally.
So it's rather curious to see what exactly triggered the pull down to begin with, and why it was put back up.
Hard to say, given YouTube's copyright policy, because they're complete and utter idiots.
Either way, the owner has said that the moment this happened, they were going to stop anyway. So thankfully, the internet is spared from more terrible Bee Movie puns.
Thank God. There's only so many bee puns you can make before you're just like.
I think Moosey's been stung one too many times by the terrible joke fairy.
I kind of want to smack you even more, Leo.
Please be responsible with your actions, Zero.
God damn it, Leo.
You knew that was coming. You knew it was coming.
Before you get any further into this, we have another source of complaints.
All right.
The PS4 Pro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently many people have been complaining that the PS4 Pro does not work with the 4K TVs.
They stated that. That's the thing.
Yes. So now people are aware that there's some issues with the PS4 Pro and your 4K television.
People didn't pay attention is the problem.
Well, it did not stop people, particularly one Maximilian dude, from complaining about the conflict. Particularly because of the fact that it also interfered with his recording software.
Oh, good lord.
Well, he should have been paying attention before, and it wouldn't have been a problem.
Dad wants to get a new TV, and I'm terrified of what he's going to get because it might interfere with our recording software.
That's also true. That would not be good. We can only hope that it does not interfere.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was going on. Street Fighter, Capcom bans the Street Fighter V stage from professional competition because of vertigo concerns.
Really?
So, in other words, it involves really extreme heights.
Not just extreme heights, but apparently the motion blur. So this particular stage in question is a plane sequence. You're fighting on a wing of a plane. And so, as you're fighting, in the background, the plane is flying up and down like it's flying.
Oh, good lord.
And so the concerns is that the change in motion in the background, while you're trying to focus on the foreground images, is going to make certain people sick. Not just people who are watching casually, but also the competitors themselves.
Oh, God.
So it was the stage was initially released back in 2008, back in November 8th, but now it is going to be banned from competition for the next season.
Oh, yeesh.
No, it's worse though. So we talked about hacking, buying pirated games. You know what else can get you banned from a video game service?
Flashers.
Yes.
God damn
So apparently people who bought Ubisoft's Watch Dogs 2 thought it would be a fantastic idea to put genitalia in the game.
What?
No one said you had to be bright to own the game.
Okay, so here's the deal. So Watch Dogs 2 is the newest is the sequel to Watch Dogs, the oh so lovable open world hacker video game.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically play as a hacker who goes ahead and you basically play as Anonymous, doing things in real life to get attention.
As you do.
As you do. And so one of the things you can do in this game is you can go ahead and apparently someone managed to go ahead and put in fully modeled and textured male and female genitalia into the game.
Of course.
This was done through the share feature to tweet a picture of a background character's parts.
Jesus H. Christ in a handbasket.
The person who did this apparently was immediately informed that they were suspended from from the Sony network account.
But of
Makes
course,
sense.
And thankfully, this person has not been perma-banned. They've only been banned for 1 week.
And you know they're not going to learn a dang thing.
Well,
maybe.
We'll see. The ban technically was lifted 5 days ago. There have not been any follow-ups to this story since, so we'll see what happens next.
Jim Sterling actually did a video on this that was actually kind of interesting. So,
really, what did he say about the topic?
Well, I'll say this: he was very artful in his alliteration and using of the synonyms for the female equipment. And basically, he was saying how it's perfectly fine for some games to have male genitalia, but the second the female genitalia shows up, people freak out.
So he was questioning specifically that
why people freak the fuck out
about female genitalia.
Bingo.
That's an interesting take. Okay. Well, there was some good news. A ban actually got lifted for once.
A 15-year-old ban.
Yes.
Damn.
Apparently, Germany banned Red Faction, the PS2 destruction sci-fi shooter, 15 years ago. And now they're finally releasing it.
Really?
Well, not releasing it. Let me rephrase it. So, you know how in the States we have the AO rating?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So when Red Faction was released in Germany, they essentially put it on what's called the Index, which is basically Germany's version of the AO rating. What this means is you can't you can't sell it to anyone unless they are above the age of 18. You cannot market it. You cannot promote it. It is essentially the black mark. It's the equivalent of the AO rating here in the States, and it's overseen by the national board regarding this decision, and so Germany banned the game when it came out.
I see.
They apparently the chain. Apparently, you can only get the game delisted, or you can only appeal it 10 years after a game is initially placed on the index.
Good lord.
So you have to wait at least a minimum of 10 years before the board decides to look at it again and change its mind.
And even then, it took 5 years later after that.
Right. So they basically there's a 5-year case from THQ Nordic, the makers of Red Faction, to actually go ahead and look at, well, given by the things we actually do allow, this is rather tame by comparison.
Yeah.
Specifically, some of the other games that were modified in Germany or that were otherwise had issues, Wolfenstein 3D, the 1994 version of Doom, and Fallout 3. All of it mainly dealing with violence and, in Wolfenstein 3D's case, use of Nazi imagery.
Of course.
But the Europeans are a lot more sensitive to violence, and I think there's a section here where the federal board goes over in detail why they banned the game. Quote, games in which players are required to destroy humans or humanoid beings, and which represent these actions in gory detail and depict them that such killing procedures must be classified as particularly brutal, have always been categorized as malicious and therefore socio-ethically disorienting in accordance with the practice of the Federal Review Board. End quote.
In other words, there has to actually be reasons.
And they felt at the time there were 15 years ago. But,
well, and that was a different environment for games like that as well. So
true, very true.
It was perceived a bit different then.
So just a very interesting take on video games, especially from when you compare the ESRB to outside the U.S. We have some good news on the speculative game front. With the Nintendo Switch, Todd Howard keeps praise onto the Nintendo Switch after seeing the Skyrim demo in the commercial.
And he also seems to be hinting that basically Skyrim is going to be coming for the Switch.
He's hinting at it. He's definitely impressed with the Switch's capabilities, apparently.
They're probably going to look and see how much of it would be possible with the hardware that they're going to be given.
If I recall from the review, he basically said what you see is what you got.
Right. So I'm curious to see whether or not Todd will be able to carry through on his promise.
Because right now, all it is that they showed is a demo that they had at E3. So the big question is whether the Switch can support the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's still again, we still have issues regarding ergonomics and logistics within the Switch itself, particularly when it comes to that 3-hour battery life.
Oh yeah.
Well, and there's probably going to be ways to extend it as well. So
right,
everybody's pre-freaking out.
But let's wait till we actually get our hands on it and we actually see what goes down.
That's why everybody's pre-freaking out for nothing. It's like,
right.
Wait till you know.
Speaking about freaking out for nothing, people are already freaking out over Super Mario Run.
Really?
For starters, the game is going to come out December 15th.
Nice.
So, at a whopping cost of $9.99 American.
Oh, big deal.
I was planning on buying it anyway.
Isn't it an app game?
For an app game, yes.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, that's too steep for me.
Let me put it to you this way: you could buy Dragon Quest, any of the Dragon Quest games, from 1 to 3. I think Dragon Quest 8 is still $19 for some odd reason, but you can buy Dragon Quest 1, 2, or 3 for less than you could pay for Super Mario Run. And that is like a 40-hour game, at least.
I know, I have Dragon Quest on my dad's tablet.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, it is... So, it's curious to see that they're going to go ahead and charge you that much. However, you do get unlimited access afterwards. And there will be a free version that you can play to test as a demo that doesn't have the full game, but goes ahead and lets you play for free if you want to just see what it's all about. It's going to be released on December 15th, and apparently part of the issue is that the $9.99 is Nintendo sort of dropping the hat. They want to see how it acts. They're just sort of testing the waters with this amount. But if there's any good news, it doesn't look like there's going to be in-app purchases.
Well, that's good.
If it's like one of those ones that gets like kind of updates, like depending on what mobile device you get, then I can deal with that.
It's pretty much a running simulator with Mario slapped on it. There are so many games like that.
Like, isn't there the game Runbow, basically? It's like that?
I've seen so many games that are just running simulators, and you're just pointing the character in the right direction and jumping and stuff. That's it. I mean,
Yeah, I've seen 1,000,000,001 of those. This is just another one with a Mario skin on it and hocked up the price.
Well, we'll see whether or not it's worth it in a month or in a couple of weeks, actually. Since it comes out the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some heartbreak for you, Zero. Persona 5 got delayed to April 4th.
I actually don't mind because I'm willing to bet they're doing that just to make sure that they have all the dialogue stuff perfectly fine and everything, make sure translation's good and stuff like that. However, I know some real hardcore Persona fans that were like, oh, my heart, my heart.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was also because the original release date was February 14th, and so people were making a literal day out of their Valentine's Day to play this game.
Oh. Now they must deal with not having social links and actually try to do a social link in the real world.
Yes, making fun of the socially awkward nerds. Anyway, apparently,
I know glass houses.
Apparently, as an apology, Atlas is going to also ship the Japanese audio as a free download.
Yeah.
And that there will also be a free Persona 5 PS4 theme for the it's not clear. I think it's within the 24 hours of the game's release or 24 hours from the story's release. It's not entirely clear.
I see.
This was released about 10 days ago, but I'm not... It seems like within 24 hours of the game's release, you can download a free Persona 5 theme, but I'm not entirely sure.
Cool.
Anyway, in addition, it also goes ahead and they announced the premium edition, which is called Take Your Heart, which includes a collector's box, hand cover art book, soundtrack CD, steel book, school bag of the protagonist's school, and a 4-inch Morgana plushie.
Jesus Christ!
All for the low price of $89.99 US.
All that for $89? That's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is.
So that's the Break Your Heart edition?
That's the Take Your Heart edition.
Oh, Take Your Heart edition. Why
So hurry down to your GameStops if you still want to get that sweet deal while it lasts.
I might consider that.
Yeah, I think that just recently, last night, I switched my editions of Resident Evil 7.
Fun. Nice.
I need to pre-order the new Tales of game, but I have time. It doesn't come out till like January.
Yeah.
Now they're already? Jesus.
They've been working on it since before the release of the other one, so...
Yeah, pretty much. And it's basically a sequel to Zestiria, so it's going to have areas that are like Zestiria. Oh, god damn it.
Oh, god, that game. You want to know what else is weird?
What?
For its latest commercial scheme?
Overdubbing anime.
Yeah, so we talked about the commercial that was DBZ inspired, where they're on Namek, and Krillin and Gohan will go ahead and ask Porunga to wish them a Ford Focus or a Ford Focus, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which is incredibly stupid, but now Ford has upped the ante by making Sailor Moon swoon over the Ford Fusion.
Yeah.
Why?
I saw that one. I saw
that. Look at the commercial. This is running on TV. It is real. Get used to it, folks.
Oh my god, and it's the actual voice actors. Oh my god.
Yes, it is. And it's the old 80s, 90s cartoon that they use for the dubbing.
Not Crystal.
My god.
Not the Crystal, not the new ones, the old stuff.
Oh god.
You're watching it right now, Akari?
This is just silly.
I couldn't stomach it. I was like, seriously? What the fuck?
And then you see Ford at the end and it's like, oh, my childhood. Why?
I think a little bit of my childhood just got cancer.
It died.
No, it's not dead yet. It's dying slowly.
No. In the immortal words of Kenan Thompson, why?
I already did that. I beat you to it.
So yeah, please, and apparently Ford is not planning on stopping anytime soon. Everyone is taking bets on which anime they're gonna take next. I'm betting it's Gundam Wing, folks.
Oh God!
It's either Gundam Wing or G Gundam, and G Gundam only is on the list because they can do so much more with the ham factor.
Like their Gundams break down and they have to get a Ford.
Yes. No, they have Domon Kashu talking about the benefits of the Ford vehicle while he's powering up for his shining finger.
Like instead of this hand of mine glows with an awesome power, he's talking about the Ford.
This horn of mine burns with 1,000 horsepower.
I hate this. I hate it already. I love G Gundam. I don't want to see it turn into this horrible thing. Really.
Any other ones? Anyone else who think that they might choose a different anime next?
Oh,
They've done Dragon Ball. They've done Dragon Ball Z. They've done Sailor Moon. The trifecta would be Gundam Wing.
True. Well, there's also Tenchi.
I don't think they would go with. I think Tenchi Muyo is too abstract.
Really?
I don't think they would go with it.
Maybe.
The only one I think that could possibly work, and I don't know why this popped into my head, was Death Note.
Oh my God!
And even then,
what are they gonna do? Kill people who don't want the car?
Exactly. Like that's the other thing. Is like, what would they do with Death Note? Of all things.
Well, they did do that weird music video with Ryuk.
Very true. But I digress.
Yeah. So. Ugh.
Moving on.
Yeah, let's move on. Zen Studio teases Bethesda pinball with Fallout art.
Like an actual pinball machine?
No, Zen Studios is a video game developer that makes pinball machines as a video game.
Oh God! I actually used to play one on my grandmother's old Windows.
Yeah, this company is still making pinball machines in digital, in digital reality, and so you play with them with a controller and stuff. And apparently, they're going to be doing all Bethesda IPs, including Elder Scrolls, Doom, Wolfenstein, Dishonored, and Fallout.
Well, this will be.
That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And the artwork looked very interesting. I've never played one of those games myself, but now I'm gonna have
to. I think the pinball game that I played was like a space-themed one back when I was like a little kid.
I think I know which one you're talking about. No, this is much more like high tech. This is a lot more high def.
Well, when I would go to the racetracks with my mom and stepdad to Albuquerque and stuff, they had like this whole section of games for kids, and there was like quite a few pinball games and a pool table.
Like, I'll show you what the actual I'll show you some of what that company does, and I think you'll be pretty shocked at the quality of the machines they essentially make.
All right.
We have news on the Minecraft movie that's coming out. That's supposed to be coming out in 2019, and apparently they found their first cast member.
Steve Carell.
The man can do voice work.
Steve Carell is going to play Steve.
No, it's not saying which character.
It's not confirmed which character he's playing. He's just going to be in the movie. We don't know where. We don't know why. We just know it will be.
I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing.
And that's sort of the thing, is that we don't. It's kind of hard to gauge it. Like, it seems like it would be it's very easy to say, oh, Steve, he'll just play Steve. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
But we have no idea what kind of plot the Minecraft movie will have, nor exactly, we don't know if it's going to go the way of story mode for Minecraft, or if it's going to be something along the lines of Lego Batman. I have no clue.
Or it could go the Telltale way.
Or it could go the way of Prince of Persia.
Oh God, no.
Okay, I think I have a really bad taste in movies because I didn't think it was that bad.
It's not that bad. There are worse movies.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball Evolution.
If you look at it as just a movie and not like based off of any game, it's not a bad movie.
And to be fair, I think apparently they were supposed to be basing it off of the... No, they were basing it off of the Sands of Time one, not the first one. Never mind. But anyway, ignore my ramblings and me being a doofus.
Hard to do that, man. I'm sorry, but that's hard to do.
Oh, bite me. Actually, speaking of biting, Alien Covenant got a poster and a release date.
Oh.
I was about to say commence Akari Squeal.
Yes.
The movie that is supposed to be the sequel to Prometheus is going to be released on August 4th, 2017.
Oh dear God!
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was the old release date. It will now be released on May 19th.
So this is a sequel to a really bad Alien movie.
This is
not bad. Okay, Prometheus was not bad. It was just disappointing.
It didn't live up to the hype.
It didn't live. It just gave us more questions than answers.
Well, maybe people's expectations will be a little bit lower with this one, so it might turn out good.
Well, and this one's supposed to actually have aliens in it.
Instead of a weird tentacle monster.
Correct. So either way, H.R. Geiger should be proud.
He should be.
So that's been announced. I actually saw this next one, and I was really intrigued by it.
I will say something first about this. I almost thought this was a fan-made trailer, but the way it looked, I almost thought it was fake.
Right, but it's not. The official teaser trailer for Cars 3 takes a twisted swerve, and I apologize for the pun, but that legitimately is what happens here.
Oh, really?
So, Zero, you remember the premise of Cars 2? You
Nope.
do not?
Nope, I never watched any of the Cars movies because they seemed like cancer.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and let me show you what the tone was. Cars, the first movie. What if cars were living people? Is basically the gist of it.
Okay.
Cars 2. What if Larry the Cable Guy was a spy? Is basically what Cars 2 was. I'm pretty sure they already did that premise in and of itself.
I think they did that in one of the stupid movies that he was in already.
Yeah, I know, but what if Larry the Cable Guy was a spy as a car? I think that's what the premise was.
I think that thought alone is giving me an aneurysm.
I'm trying to remember what the movie was called, but anyway, that's not the
Delta
point.
Farce?
That's it.
No. Was it that one?
It was Delta Farce.
That's where they were in Vietnam, right?
I thought it was the middle. No, it was Iraq.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so Cars 3 opens up on a NASCAR track, and Lightning McQueen gets taken out.
I mean, on fire, tires blown out, swirling through the air,
rolling crash. Like we're talking like this is a literal car wreck is happening as your opening trailer.
But you already know they're not going to kill him off because he's the main character.
To what Disney movie? Well, here's the thing. You don't know whether that's the beginning or the end.
It's the beginning.
Probably that or somewhere near like the middle, like he's probably in an important race and something goes wrong.
But still, the whole thing, like Disney, not Disney. Pixar's had a really dark edge recently, actually.
Toy Story 3, I heard, had a really nasty edge to it.
Disney's just been... I'm sorry, I keep saying Disney. Pixar has just been really, really dark recently, and I don't know why that is.
You can kind of say Disney because they're both... Pixar is technically a branch of Disney.
Yeah, I know, but, I mean, Pixar has a lot.
It's more of a partnership than it is there.
Yeah, it's more of a partnership, and there's a lot more attention to quality from Pixar, I think, than Disney as a whole. I remember there was that one Pixar short that was really, really dark. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Okay, no, I know it's not Paper Man. I know it's not that.
It was a really dark one. I can't remember.
You'll probably think of it later.
I'll probably think of it later, but yeah, it was a noticeably dark short, and it was really different compared to what they used to be. Anyway, but yeah, just it's really odd in that aspect, and I'm kind of interested in seeing what exactly they're going to do with it. What can I say? I'm a sucker for Pixar.
Yeah, I haven't really watched any movies in so long. I've kind of grown. I'm just a cynical bastard.
Dude, please give Zootopia a try. At least give that one a go.
I don't know. I think most of the furries that I know kind of made me wary of it.
Kind of ruined it for you?
Bingo.
That's the thing. You can't really ruin something unless you've seen it.
No, but the idea is that it's like what Muzi said earlier with Harry Potter. Like, everyone was going on and on about it, and you just kind of like, just shut up.
Not to mention that that I basically partake in a community that's basically fetishizing every character in there, from main to sub to just the one guy in the corner. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I know the plot inside and out, and I haven't even seen the goddamn movie. So I'm kind of just burned out on it.
Moving on to a more positive note.
Yeah, let's move on to a more positive note. You know what's even worse than what's worse than Sonic 06?
What?
We're actually not. I'm sorry. That was not the way I should have opened that up. I wrote myself into a corner. I'm sorry. You know what's better than Sonic 06? Playing Sonic 06 for charity. There we go. That's how I should have opened it. Just forget what I just said. Edit, ignore it. Let's move on.
I'm not going to edit that.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. Anyway, Run for Our Rights is a charity for transgender awareness. And so for this month, they went ahead and decided to play Sonic 06 for charity.
Oh dear God, are they mad?
Yeah.
I mean, they must have if they were playing Sonic 06.
And they had never played it before, so...
Oh.
So they did a 24-hour complete playthrough of Sonic 06 to go ahead and raise awareness for Transgender Awareness Month and to raise money for this charity.
Alrighty. How much did they
Apparently,
make?
this also happened to be during the 10-year anniversary of Sonic 06 releases, guys. It has been 10 years since Sega has died. Sega died with this game. And all we have now is...
They didn't die. They were mortally wounded and have been limping along since.
No, they died and have been resurrected as a voodoo zombie.
That's pushing it.
I mean, that's how I feel about it. Muzi, did you participate in this next story?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So, during the Thanksgiving holiday, Mystery Science Theater 3000 hosted a giant stream, which apparently went ahead and showed their 100 most popular episodes.
No, what they did was the Kickstart backers that backed the new season of Mystery Science Theater got to vote for the top 6 ever episodes.
Okay.
And so what they did was they aired those, like, in order all the way up to 1. Throughout the day.
I see.
I see. Quick question. Was Manos the Hands of Fate on it?
I think it was number 1.
Glad to know. Glad to know.
But it not only had the original creator, but it also had the new host for the new season that's going to be coming out, I think, right at the beginning of the next year. And it's going to be on Netflix.
Dang.
I need to rewatch my set.
I kind of wish you had told me about this movie because I would have liked to have watched the hat.
I had totally forgotten about it until I went on YouTube and went, oh yeah!
So there's an actual YouTube video of the stream, is there?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, there is.
Okay, so
So they did save the video from it.
I think
Yes,
they mostly
they did.
do when they're live streams.
Let me check real quick just to make sure we're not.
That's what it says in the article. So
well,
Yeah,
should
but sometimes those things change. Although their YouTube channel, what they do is they actually do have full episodes of the show on there to watch for free.
oh, they do? So if that's the case, then I'll be checking that out. Could you give me a link to it, Moosey, so I could actually put it into the notes for when I put the notes in the description of our podcast video?
Let me pull up the. There we go.
All right. While Moosey's doing that, let's go ahead and talk about our last news article.
Nintendo is apparently teaming up with escape room designer Scrap to bring Defenders of the Triforce to American cities,
Oh, good lord.
which is a real life, which is going to be a collaboration which allows you to go ahead and actually basically be Link
Really?
That actually sounds like fun.
and solve puzzles. Players will be able to interact with classic items and characters seen in the Legend of Zelda series like the Goron, Zora, and Kokiri tribes. Discovered items can be used to solve puzzles and move on into other areas, just like the Legend of Zelda games.
And a update to the previous one. No, they did not save the stream onto their channel.
Damn it!
Fuck. Oh well. They've released 8 locations. They will be going to San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, Seattle, Phoenix, Houston, Chicago, and New York. And they've announced touring dates for San Francisco first, starting in January 31st, to San Diego, ending on February 25th.
Okay, so I think the closest one to...
You would be Phoenix.
Ugh. Wait, wouldn't Houston be closer?
No, because Houston, you have to go past Dallas. And to get to Dallas, you have to travel at least 13 hours. Phoenix, you can do within 7.
Oh, right, you're right. That's true.
And I know because I've driven to Dallas round trip, and that is a pain to do. Okay, I just checked. It's 6 hours to Phoenix from where you live, Zero.
Huh.
It is 10 hours to get to Houston.
Yeesh.
So, yeah, it is much easier to at least do it, to at least distance-wise, to go to Phoenix.
This is what happens when you live in bumfuck Texas.
Well, to be fair, we live on the corner of Texas, so going anywhere else into Texas is a bear.
Oh, God, is that true?
Yes, it is, and I know because I've done it.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Okay, and Moosey said Manos the Hands of Fate is on the list. Reason why I'm kind of happy about that is because
Manos the Hands of Fate was filmed in our hometown.
bingo.
They have actually gone and done a Riff Tracks version of that as well as one of their live shows, and so you can actually go on the Riff Tracks site and buy that live show.
Huh, okay.
And so it's brand new jokes and everything.
Okay.
So you can watch the original MST3K one on the YouTube channel, and then go buy
the live version and have a whole new experience.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And they're always very reasonably priced on there.
Nice.
Like, isn't a Rift Tracks only like a few bucks?
It depends on what you're getting. Let me look up Manos. I think I actually have that one.
By the way, I still think we really should do like a Rift Tracks one of these days.
We really need to do a riff tracks of Xenosaga.
Good lord. You know what would be easier if we just did a riff tracks of the Xenosaga Episode 1 anime?
That might work too. Though we would have to work around YouTube copyright and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could get the Riff Tracks Live Manos Hands of Fate. You can stream downloaded it, for like $12.95, or you can order the DVD version for the same price, but you might have a little bit of shipping. So downloading it is slightly cheaper.
Actually, I do kind of want to ask our viewers, would they like to hear us do like a Legend Hunters riff tracks?
Because that
I would be into that.
I think we need to do I think we should do like a sample where we actually do like at least like a mini-sode or something like that. And that might be more. That might give them a better idea of what we actually bring to the table.
Well, and a good example of that was Riff Tracks does a lot of shorts. Like they'll take like the old educational shorts and all this kind of stuff, and they'll riff those.
Like the big one that I want to do is like Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
Oh my god, no. I riff that all the time.
We'd have to riff the director's cut, though.
Oh, dear God.
Director's cut's actually not too bad, though.
Yeah, right.
There's more material to riff.
Sorry, Akari. I don't buy that the director's cut fixes any of the problems with the.
It does fill in a little bit more of the plot, which would give us more material to riff.
We'll see.
And half of the video I'd be going like, why? What the fuck? What's the point?
Where did they come from? What the hell's happening?
No idea.
I haven't even played the game and I can't follow this.
Alright, what's coming up on Channel Zero?
Well, aside from this podcast, going to be posting up more episodes of Dark Cloud 2. Let's see, by now we're actually officially in Mount Gundor.
Yes, you are.
And so, actually, where me and Legend have stopped recording, like in our backup videos, we just finished Mount Gundor, and we're about to fight Emperor Griffin. Or at least the first fight with him.
Okay. So you're at Mount Gundor. I suppose then, given more or less the schedule, I might show up just as you're about to go into the Moon Palace?
Quite possibly. I think the next recording session for me and Legend will be us going through the Stargates for every single dungeon.
Okay. So and that takes quite a while anyway, so there you go.
Yeah, well, I think it would be one episode. We can get, like, one episode would be one Stargate, one episode would be the next. Pretty much. And there's, like, four of them, and then there'll be an awesome fight with a giant... You know what, I should shut up.
Yes, let's leave that alone, and then we'll get into the end game.
Yeah.
Hopefully... so I'm finishing up school for the semester over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, by the time I come back, we can do some more. We can do some more Mario Party, some more shenanigans, and maybe start up something else as well.
Yeah,
yes.
I really want Yacht Club Games to bring out the next freaking Shovel Knight DLC. I want to do a Let's Play of that.
I think it's coming out soon, but not soon enough for our tastes.
Oh, God, yeah.
But yes, we definitely need, opinions on should we try riffing a short just to...
Oh, can you imagine if we riff an episode of Pokemon?
No, that's too easy.
Yeah, especially the early shit.
Yeah, especially
that's too easy.
Anyway, this has been Leo Force.
This has been Death Zero. This has been Death Zero.
This has been Muzi.
And that was Akari.
And this is Akari staying in...
Later.
The hell? Later, everyone.
We're all fucked up at the moment. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.